That one right away never sat with me. And so
Yeah.
that gave me a very healthy skepticism from a young age. And so yeah, I was very agnostic and even atheistic, I guess we could say, for many years. And then just through I was searching for something. I was searching for meaning and understanding, but had no spiritual basis to it. And then wound up in a whole lot of trouble and got myself into prison, like a little over 20 years ago. And
Wow.
while I was in there, I had the great fortune of coming into contact with a spiritual teacher who had created a course for prisoners. And I started taking the course, and then over the years, very profound spiritual experiences started happening, undeniable, kind of like what I was talking about before. Is like you can believe in God, or God can show himself to you and begin speaking to you or speaking through you in a way that's absolutely undeniable. And
You
it
can't
kind of
believe what you know.
it's a first person science. You can only know it for yourself. You can tell people about it, but
Yeah,
unless
but
they,
if you believe it, you don't know it. That's
yeah.
exactly, yeah, I'm with you 100%.
Now, that brings me to one question I want to ask you about. So, in terms of the implications of this recognition that we are living in a simulation, because again, it's one thing to think it, it's one thing to have the idea of it, but I know you mentioned that maybe a week after discovering the code is when it really hit you, as like something shifted, you got the gut punch, and you were like, nothing is the same ever again. Maybe that was when I don't think that was exactly when, but at some point you realized you're never doing what you don't love ever again. Didn't you say
Yeah,
that?
yeah. So you're kind of condensing a lot of information, but honestly, it tracks. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, so I'm just curious, what are the implications? How did it hit you? How have things shifted? I mean, what has it forced you to do or see differently, or, in
so
real.
before I say any of that, I do want to, because I cut you off kind of there. I do want you to. Can you go a little bit into in what way God showed you certain things that made it like more real for you?
Absolutely. Yeah. So at first there were energy releases happening in my body. And this took place over the course of really like 10 years. It was really intense. It would cause me to jerk. My body would jerk. I could feel the energy building up, in my lower spine, and then it would just shoot out and would cause me to do this. It made me super self-conscious for a long time. It was like hard being in public because I had no control over.
Oh,
I could
wow.
keep a lid on it, but eventually, like the pressure's just going to build up and it's going to happen. And so that went on for years. And then I discovered, if I drink alcohol, it doesn't really happen. So I began drinking too much because I was like, the
Oh, you
energy
wanted
is
to numb it.
just
So
constant. It was so constant, and for years it was like I felt victimized by this energy, and I asked for it. So I was like, I wasn't upset or in regret about it. I was just like, enough is enough already. You know what I mean?
you
And
knew
so,
what it was. You knew that it's some kind of a divine power.
well, yes, I did, and everything I read about it showed me that. But then over the course of like 15 years, what happened is this energy started rising up through the body, and eventually it began to produce sound. And at first, it was like gurgling noise. It would just be like, let's see if I can do it. I need a drink. But it would cause my like the root of my tongue to vibrate.
Wow.
So this gets really crazy. So,
Well, I would really want to see if you can recreate that sound.
oh yeah, it's a that's it. It would start
Wow.
doing that, and so, and then I would spontaneously ohm, like periodically every couple months or whatever. I would just ohm, and it would come out like that.
Wow.
One day, I was meditation, and it just came out Hreem, and I was like, wait a minute, Hreem. That's a bija mantra. That's not just random. So I looked it up in one of my texts, and I was like, yeah, Hreem is the bija mantra of the goddess Kundalini Shakti. And
Wow.
so I was like, okay, that's crazy. And then, but about a month later, and I had just taken formal initiation with the same organization, the Kashmir Shaivism. It's called Siddha Yoga, and the current sitting guru was different than the person who created the course. I received the initial, awakening through the course. So I took the formal initiation, and about 4 or 5 months later, I'm sitting in meditation. I'm sitting on the edge of my tub. I got a candle there. I have a picture of the guru, and I'm just meditating. And I think I might have been doing some chanting or just sitting. And I feel the energy rising like it's normally going to do. I can feel it's getting ready to make me, make some gurgling sounds. And I just let go somehow in my throat, and the sound came out. But instead of just gurgling sounds, I spoke, I am the royal emissary Elohim.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's what came out of me, and I was like, what the fuck was that? That was not just energy, that was a message. And then immediately, for the next several weeks, it was just constant explosions coming out of me, mantras, languages I didn't know, proclamations of divinity, and like just so much energy. I mean, I'm just.
Any of this?
Did I record it? Yeah, I did. I made some recordings. Well, now it's just on.
You don't know. I mean, this is something we can like immediately put into like action and like look at. Like this is incredible.
I've been trying to find someone like you who's like, wait a minute, there's something here, because everyone's just like, most people when I tell them, they don't even hear me. I can tell it just goes over their head.
But the thing, and I get it, because if
their eyes gloss over and they just start nodding.
Yeah. Because they don't know what to do with it. But the thing is that every time I hear that particular claim of the speaking of the other languages and all that stuff, people always say, "Oh yeah, I never recorded it," or "I never like." It's just like, okay, well.
So now, Danny, I mean, since it's happened, if I just tone, it comes out. Like I'll do it now. I'll do it now for you. I don't know what's going to come out. I never know what's going to come out. But I just, I am God. I am Allah. I am Yahweh. I am Baba Muktananda. Oh ya la 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 ya baba ma ya na na na. I am God. Oh, I am Allah.
So that's the state that you put yourself in, and it produces this.
I just let the sound come out, and I don't distort it, and it moves my tongue, and it makes the sound.
That's wild. Okay, we should look into this. We should because one of the things that we're trying to do in CORE, we started an actual nonprofit called Code of Reality, and we're trying to basically bridge between the scientific endeavor proper, not like weird distortions of what the scientific method is, but science proper with spiritualism proper. So like exactly how it comes about with an open mind, but at the same time putting it through the rigor of science, which is what it needs to be requiring, because people are either a little bit too flimsy over here or too rigid over here. How do we bridge those, right? How do we open heart, open mind, but also we don't just do whatever, we streamline it in a way that can actually do something. So that's exactly what we're trying to do in many different ways. That would be interesting to look into. So I'm excited to explore this part. That's amazing.